Good day, all of you. The topic of today's discussion is distribution channel design. So, the meaning or the definition of marketing channel is marketing channel are the combination of agencies through which the seller, who is often, though not necessarily the manufacturer, but markets his product to the ultimate user. The definition is given by John A. Howard. Channel functions. The functions should be assigned to the channel members who can add most value for the cost, and in turn they get their own percentage in the which is the portion of the entire price of the total product. The various value addition given to the customer by the different intermediaries involves information dissemination, which is a two-way process from manufacturer to the customer and vice versa from customer to the manufacturer, the promotion of the product and the company, the contacts that are developed between the different customer and intermediaries to the manufacturer, the different type of matchings, the negotiations, the physical distribution, the financing, that are the loans facilities available for different intermediaries and also for the manufacturer, and the different types of risk associated with the success or failure of that product, all which are actually distributed among the different intermediaries rather than the manufacturer wholesale. The different types of channels of distribution involves, we call it as the different levels of distribution or the indirect or the channel. First one is the zero level channel, in which the manufacturer directly sells to the customer. We also used to call it as direct marketing. Next one is level 1 of distribution, which in which only one intermediary is involved between the manufacturer and the customer, or we also call it as the selling directly through the retailer. Now the two level channel, in which the two different intermediaries, that is the wholesaler and the retailer, comes in between the manufacturer and the customer. The manufacturer in bulk sells the product to the wholesaler, which again in some small quantities sell the product to the different retailers, and from which in very small quantities and in repeated number of times the customer purchases the goods from the retailer. Now the three level channel, in which the three different intermediaries like the wholesaler, distributor or agent or the retailer comes in between the manufacturer and the customer. As we can see here, the different levels of distribution channel as being described, depicted in the diagram. The diagram A shows the distribution channel for consumer products, whereas the diagram B depicts the distribution different levels of distributions channel. The case is for industrial products. Channel behavior, the important decisions taken by any of the manufacturer before deciding the channel uh, type or channel design is first the identifying the product or the target market upon which the most suitable level of channel is being decided, whether the manufacturer wants to go for a zero level, level 1, level 2 or level 3 type of distribution channel. And after the manufacturer decides at which kind of distribution channel he is going to adopt, he then decides or takes the decision for selecting those intermediaries of that particular channel. So the process follows as initially identifying the target consumer, then determining the consumer buying habits for the type of goods, then locate potential customer geographically, pinpoint channel alternatives as we have already discussed that which kind of or which level of channel of distribution the manufacturer is going to adopt, then evaluate the different alternatives, and then ultimately after being selected the level 1, level 2 or any level 3 type of channel of distribution, select the different intermediaries for that particular type of distribution channel. Now the intensity of the market coverage, we have described that into three different groups, that is the intensive uh, method in which the distribution is done through every reasonable outlet in a market, the exclusive method in which the distribution is done through multiple but not all the reasonable outlets in the market, and selective in which the distribution is done through single wholesaling middleman in a market. Now how these intensity market coverage applies to different scenes and different types of product. Relationship between type of product, level of shopping effort and intensity of distribution is depicted by the diagram. As we can see, intensity of the distribution, the y-axis describes the type of the product and the x-axis describes the uh, level of shopping effort. The type of product is categorized into convenience goods that we can consider as the FMCG type of day-to-day use goods, the shopping goods in which we can categorize the clothes and the different products, and the specialty goods like the cosmetics or the multi-level segmented target groups, cosmetics and which is targeted only for the female customers, or super specialty that is uh, target even to female and that too of a particular segment or age group of customers. So the distribution intensity or the method adopted in case of convenience goods, the little or the no effort is required as we go through the intensive distribution in which almost all the outlets are selected. The shopping goods in which selective distribution which requires a little more effort for distribution to the ultimate customers, like in case of clothes, and specialty goods which requires a lot of effort as multi-level segmentation of the customer is considered, and the product is also not generalized but it is specific, and it is promoted or distributed also through the limited number and the specialty owned uh, outlets. Now, the vertical marketing system or marketing channels in which manufacturing and the successive stages of distribution are operated as a unified system. These are the different examples, the types of systems, the control maintained by, and the examples like administrative type of systems in which the control is maintained by the economic power contract. The examples are Amul dairy products, Procter and Gamble products, the contractual type of systems like wholesaler sponsored, retailer sponsored, manufacturer sponsored, or the service company sponsored. The control is manufactured maintained by stock owned by wholesaler in case of wholesaler sponsored, stock owned by retailers in case of retailer sponsored. Manufacturer sponsored includes the franchisee systems, whereas the marketers of services is an example of service company sponsored. The corporate type of systems involved the control maintained by ownership, like Singer swing machines, Goodyear tires, oil companies, and other many more. Generally, the conflicts are of two types: the vertical conflicts in a distribution channel or the horizontal conflicts in the distribution channel. The vertical conflicts involves the conflicts between the different levels of intermediaries, like the conflict between a wholesaler and the retailer, or the manufacturer or the wholesaler, or the distributor or the wholesaler, or retailer or the distributor. Whereas the horizontal conflicts generally occurs among the firms at the same level of the channel, like between one retailer to other retailer, or one wholesaler to the other retailer, other wholesaler. Channel management involves recruiting, training, motivating, servicing, compensating, evaluating, and replacing the channel members. The channel members not only includes the intermediaries like retailer, wholesaler, distributors, but also a huge number of sales force, which basically involved in servicing and motivating the different intermediaries, and which also acts as an active member in the information flow between the um, channel members and the manufacturer. Thank you.